Warner Brothers Discovery executives were reportedly backstage last night at AEW Dynamite in the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, as talks continue over a potential new media rights deal between the two organizations. Plenty of details on MJF's return to AEW, his contract situation, plans with Adam Cole, as well as upcoming creative plans for the former AEW World Champion have been revealed. More details as well on Jordynne Grace's appearance on WWE NXT this week, as well as her status updates when it comes to TNA wrestling and this collaboration between WWE and TNA. Will Ospreay is the new number one contender for the AEW World Championship and will challenge Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. Mercedes Moné has been confronted by CMLL Women's Champion Stephanie Vacqua last night on AEW Dynamite. The TNT Championship has been vacated by the brand new interim Executive Vice President Christopher Daniels. Saraya tweets and then deletes after her match was booked and then rescheduled for AEW Dynamite. Trent Beretta has joined the John Callis family, attacking Orange Cassidy. Brian Keith is now officially a member of Chris Jericho's Learning Tree faction, and more details on how WWE kept Ethan Page's WWE NXT debut quiet this past Tuesday. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off with some developments when it comes to AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery, with executives reportedly being backstage last night at AEW Dynamite. Now, this past week's AEW Dynamite was held at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California, and it had special guests backstage, namely a few Warner Brothers Discovery executives. PW Insider has claimed that a few important executives from WBD, who are the broadcast partners of AEW, were backstage, one of whom is Sam Linsky. Linsky is TNT and TBS's Associate General Manager and Senior Vice President, Programming and Operations, with a report adding that he has supported AEW since the beginning of the promotion in 2019. Aside from Linsky, the report claims that other WBD staff were also backstage for Dynamite. Linsky's dedication to promoting AEW has been evidenced by past reports which stated that he tried to convince Cody Rhodes to stay in the promotion. WBD officials could have been backstage in AEW to perhaps discuss about the promotion's upcoming media rights deals, which AEW CEO Tony Khan also addressed on the Double or Nothing post-show media scrum. Khan praised WBD and expressed his desire to continue his partnership with the company. The report by PW Insider also added that MJF, who returned to AEW at last weekend's Double or Nothing pay-per-view, was not backstage during Wednesday's show. We'll get to that in just a second. But what are your thoughts when it comes to the latest developments with AEW and WBD? Of course, the latest reporting has suggested that WBD does want to keep the existing 5 hours of AEW programming across TNT and TBS. However, Tony Khan was reportedly disappointed with the current offer on the table, with the exclusivity period between AEW and WBD expiring in July. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, we spoke about MJF there. He wasn't on Dynamite last night, but we've got a lot of details about his return to AEW television, his contract, his feud with Adam Cole, and much more, because MJF is back after missing almost 5 months of AEW TV. Ahead of MJF's AEW Double or Nothing return, the company, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, went to great lengths to keep his appearance secret, though many on the roster had expected him to come back at the show. Now, Fightful were told last week that the plan was for MJF to fly into Phoenix instead of Las Vegas, which he did. Then he'd be driven from Phoenix and brought to Las Vegas, where it proved hard to keep many surprises out of the public eye. Even Hiroshi Tanahashi was spotted by fans before his appearance on AEW Collision the Saturday prior to Double or Nothing. Now, Fightful have been told that MJF was actually spotted by a fan on the plane, which made its way back to Fightful as well, but they weren't interested on spoiling any MJF-related plane scoops during Double or Nothing weekend, due to maybe a bit of an infamous past there. He was actually brought into the arena and backstage area in a wheelchair, covered up so nobody backstage could see him either. Now, as far as his contract, MJF reportedly anyway agreed to a new AEW contract at some point in 2022, following following AEW Double or Nothing weekend, though specifically when or the length of the deal isn't known really by anyone at this point. Now, at one point, MJF's contract ran from mid-July 2019 until September 1st, 2022. His new or newer agreement made him one of the company's highest paid talent on a multi-million-dollar per year deal. By this point, MJF would have already worked 22 months past the point of his original deal expiring. It's important to note that Fightful say they're not sure if that meant he agreed to an extension or a totally new deal that replaced the remaining time on the previous contract. Again, kind of the details surrounding his contract are still a bit murky outside of the fact of he is under contract to AEW for quite some time. Now, MJF was outspoken publicly and privately about wanting to be paid more based on what other wrestlers coming into the company received back in 2022. Fightful are reporting that they have been told that he was adequately rectified on that situation. Now, it was confirmed to Fightful that while MJF was injured significantly at the end of 2023, he didn't undergo shoulder surgery that was previously reported by other outlets. Now, of course, as you would have expected, there were plans for MJF and Adam Cole to wrestle in late 2023, and Adam Cole was considered for a possible AEW World Championship victory. However, Cole's injury set off a chain of events that are still felt today. Now, Fightful have been told that a possible MJF versus Adam Cole match is still far from a reality, as Cole is not near an in-ring return by any stretch, and all parties involved wanted a way to sort of blow the feud and turn off in the meantime until that match can happen, which again is way off in the future, hence why there was a bit of physicality at Double or Nothing this past weekend. Now, those that Fightful have spoken to in AEW say the creative plans they've heard of with MJF seemed out of left field and would likely end up working well. As I stated, MJF was not on Dynamite last night, but he will return to AEW Dynamite next week. It was announced during last night's broadcast that the former AEW World Champion would be appearing on next week's show on TBS. So what do you make of the possibility of MJF's creative plans being out of left field? What do you think that means as we get closer to Forbidden Door? Who do you think he feuds with? And what do you think he does on AEW TV? Let me know your thoughts and reaction to it in the comment section below. Now, speaking of surprises, Jordynne Grace, her appearance on NXT this week was a big surprise considering she's under contract to TNA and also the TNA Knockouts World Champion. Now, TNA Knockouts Champion Jordynne Grace appeared in NXT on May 28, and Fightful Select say they've learned a lot of details about how this all came together. Now, Fightful Select say they've learned a lot more about Grace's appearance and what the future holds. As highlighted on social media, both Grace and Ethan Page were hidden away, and Fightful NXT insider Corey Brennan had noted that the tapings had been way more secretive than usual. Non-complete rundowns featured Lita and Alexa Bliss as placeholders for Jordynne Grace's appearance. Lita's theme was also used as a placeholder during rehearsals for the segment too. NXT's talent that Fightful spoke to were pleasantly surprised about the announcement that Jordynne Grace will be wrestling on NXT next week as well. NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez was said to have been legitimately surprised at her own urging. Those Sean Ross Sapp spoke to said that Perez was adamant that she wanted to be surprised by who the opponent would be, so when Jordynne Grace popped up on the show, it was a genuine reaction from her. The NXT Battleground match is part of an agreement between Grace and NXT that will see her make at least 3 appearances, including 2 advertised matches and her appearance last night. NXT sources claim that Grace is making at least 6 figures for the 3 appearances. Now, Andrea Concepcion and Johnny Russo were responsible for Jordynne Grace's segment, per Corey Brennan. While talent didn't know, Ethan Page himself found out about Grace's appearance ahead of time, as he and Grace were at Cesar Bononi's house before the reveals. They'd actually run into each other prior to that and were aware of the spots. Now, Fightful have also been told that the door is very open for more NXT crossover with TNA Wrestling. There were some that wondered if Scott D'Amore's departure from TNA Wrestling would close that forbidden door, as he helped facilitate the Royal Rumble appearance on his way out. However, those that Fightful have spoken to in TNA say the lines of communication have remained open. As far as Grace's status with TNA, she remains under TNA contract for at least the next year plus, so she's not leaving TNA Wrestling anytime soon. Now let's talk about Dynamite last night. Will Ospreay is the brand new #1 contender for the AEW World Championship. The main event of Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite saw multiple competitors, including the likes of CMLL's Mystico and New Japan Pro Wrestling Shota Umino and Lio Rush, all compete in a casino gauntlet match for a shot at the AEW World Championship at the upcoming AEW AEW and New Japan Forbidden Door pay-per-view. The high-intensity match tested the grit of every single competitor, but by the time the smoke cleared, it was AEW International Champion Will Ospreay standing victorious in the ring and face-to-face with AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland. The Casino Gauntlet match saw both AEW talent and international competitors from multiple promotions ahead of AEW's upcoming Forbidden Door pay-per-view event. Eventual winner Will Ospreay was the fourth man to enter the match out of 9 wrestlers, ultimately winning the match by capitalizing on an injured Orange Cassidy with a hidden blade. After that, all it took was an Os cutter from Ospreay to pin Cassidy for the victory. Ospreay did not have much time to celebrate his victory, as Strickland and Prince Nana appeared to confront the AEW World Champion's newest challenger. Dynamite's last moment saw the two men staring at each other, silent and defiant. Ospreay will presumably be Strickland's second challenger after the latter successfully defended his AEW World Championship against Christian Cage at Double or Nothing over the weekend. Wednesday also marked the second time Ospreay won a Casino Gauntlet match, with his first victory occurring just a month ago in the lead-up to Double or Nothing. Ospreay's first Casino Gauntlet match, a victory secured him a match with the previous AEW International Champion Roderick Strong. Ospreay and Strickland are slated to clash at this year's Forbidden Door event on June 30 on Long Island in New York. As of this recording, it is assumed that the match will be solely for the AEW World Championship, and no title unification or winner-take-all stipulations are expected right now. And we spoke about the influence of Forbidden Door on last night's show, and we certainly felt it when it comes to Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné, of course, is the newly crowned AEW TBS champion and is already making up for lost time after nearly a year on the shelf. On Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, it was revealed Moné's mystery attacker from a few weeks back was Sky Blue, leading to a TBS title defense on the show. Moné made quick work of Blue, but her night was not over there. After her victory over Blue, Moné was confronted by CMLL Women's Champion Stephanie Vacqua, meaning that Moné will likely be facing the CMLL champion at the upcoming AEW New Japan Forbidden Door 3 pay-per-view on June 30 on Long Island. Vacqua and Moné do have history, as Moné defeated her in the first round of the New Japan Strong Women's Championship tournament from last year. Moné advanced to the finals, where she suffered the injury that kept her out of action until this past Sunday's Double or Nothing event, where Moné won the TBS title. Now, it's not clear yet if Vacqua's CMLL Women's title will also be on the line. Of course, she's also the New Japan Strong Openweight Women's Champion too, so we'll have to wait and see what happens when it comes to a match announcement for that. CMLL, of course, is the official lucha partner of New Japan Pro Wrestling, who will be co-hosting the Forbidden Door event. New Japan's presence not only means the possible presence of CMLL stars, but also Stardom too. Now, what about the AEW TNT Championship? Of course, there were a lot of questions when it came after the announcement of Adam Copeland's broken leg injury. Now, Adam Copeland's tibia has split, and thus the AEW TNT Championship has been declared vacant by the Power Mad Executive Vice Presidents. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson tried to declare their elite compatriot Jack Perry as the new champion, but was stopped by a new interim authority figure. On Wednesday's AEW Dynamite, the fallen angel Christopher Daniels was revealed as the new interim executive vice president in Kenny Omega's absence, putting a halt to the Elite's plans to crown Perry. Daniels also announced there will be a tournament to determine the contenders for the vacant title. After the tournament matches, an undisclosed number of wrestlers will compete in a ladder match at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view to determine a new champion. Perry will be one of the participants in the tournament. The tournament is set to begin on this week's Rampage, with eliminator matches determining the ladder match participants. Kenny Omega, of course, is currently out of action due to diverticulitis, which was aggravated by an attack by the Elite several weeks ago. Omega is out for a prolonged period of time as he will require surgery. Former AEW TNT champion Adam Copeland also requires surgery on his broken leg injury. The return dates for either man are not yet known. Now, Saraya was causing a bit of controversy on social media last night, and it doesn't appear that the former AEW Women's World Champion is very happy. Fans expected to see a continuation of timeless Toni Storm and Mariah May's ongoing mentor-mentee feud with Saraya and Harley Cameron on this week's episode of Dynamite, as May and Saraya were slated to go one-on-one on Wednesday's card, as announced on the AEW Control Center. The Control Center video has since gone private on YouTube, by the way. However, hours before the show, Saraya published, then then deleted a cryptic post. Saraya's ex-post is suspected by some to be in response to AEW apparently cancelling her match with May, which would have been Saraya's first step back into singles competition since December 2023. Instead, in an odd move, AEW announced Mercedes Moné's in-ring Dynamite debut and first defense of the TBS Championship against Sky Blue during the broadcast after Blue interrupted Moné's championship celebration and revealed it was she who attacked Moné several weeks ago backstage. At the end of the broadcast, AEW announced that Saraya vs. May would take place on next week's Dynamite. Of course, the move came on the same day that the Wrestling Observer's Brian Alvarez reported that AEW President and CEO Tony Khan, the promotion's booker, has been booking shows on the fly and changing plans at the last minute. Saraya's cancelled match and passive-aggressive response, which you can see on the screen right there, saying, quote, about to start really speaking my mind, before she later deleted it, seems to indicate another last-minute call by Khan. Saraya was most recently seen fighting alongside Cameron, with the two of them taking a loss to Storm and May on last week's episode of Dynamite. So what do you make of this? What do you make of the match being cancelled? Was it the right call? Was it the wrong call? Let me know your reaction to it in the comment section below. Now, Trent Beretta is the latest member of the Don Callis family. Now, you could barely hear Don Callis over the raucous boos as he offered Orange Cassidy a contract on this week's episode of Dynamite. Detailed in the contract was a particular opportunity, the chance to join the Don Callis family. In the end, it was not Cassidy that found himself entangled in the Callis clan, but an old friend turned nemesis, Trent Beretta. After Cassidy took his sweet time tearing up Callis' contract, Callis attempted to berate Cassidy to accept his offer. The two were interrupted by Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway, and the latter wasted no time in proclaiming his unadulterated, undiluted hatred for Cassidy. Statlander picked up where Hathaway left off and proclaimed that she would accept Callis' offer on her best friend's behalf. Any confusion as to who Statlander was referring to was quickly cleared when the camera panned to reveal Beretta in the corner, teeth bared like a predator. Beretta attacked Cassidy in bloodlust and floored the former AEW International Champion. Callis and Beretta cemented their partnership with an embrace in the middle of the ring, with Beretta's foot pinning a bloody Cassidy into the canvas. So now Beretta is in the Don Callis family. Speaking of factions and new members, Chris Jericho got one in Brian Keith. A new member of Chris Jericho's Learning Tree faction in AEW was revealed last night. In the debut of a new segment, TV Time with the Learning Tree Chris Jericho, there was a literal giant faux tree in the ring for the talk show. Complete with a grass carpet covering the ring, the segment featured Big Bill and the official introduction of the latest apple from Chris Jericho's Learning Tree, the bounty hunter Brian Keith. Brian Keith explained that he noticed that Jericho doesn't get the respect he deserves in AEW and went on to passionately instruct the crowd to respect Jericho. Hook and Samoa Joe both then came out, and it looks like they're united in an effort to fight the Learning Tree. So now, seemingly, it looks like it's going to be Hook and Joe versus possibly Keith and Jericho, or Jericho and possibly Big Bill, or Big Bill and Brian Keith. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And finally, many people are still talking about Ethan Page, the former AEW wrestler's debut in NXT this week. All ego Ethan Page is now a WWE NXT superstar, and the former TNA World Tag Team Champion made a shocking debut on Tuesday. He was revealed to be the mystery attacker who has been running roughshod over the developmental program. According to Fightful Select, Page is officially signed with WWE and was at the Performance Center last week. NXT officials have been interested in Page since he left AEW earlier this year. Backstage access to NXT was completely stripped down to prevent Page's reveal, nor the reveal of TNA Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace from leaking ahead of the show. During rehearsals for the show's closing segment, Shawn Michaels is said to have stood in for Page so he wouldn't have been seen before the show. The report further revealed that Vic Joseph's near mention of AEW was part of the program and said to be scripted. Of course, Page joined AEW in 2021, but was seldom used, often relegated to online broadcast shows like AEW Dark or Ring of Honor, with the occasional appearance on Rampage or pay-per-view pre-shows, things of that nature. He left the company early this month and his profile was removed from the company's website. Page had been initially in contact with WWE in 2021, but ended up signing with AEW instead. During his time with TNA Wrestling, then Impact, he was the longest reigning tag team champion in the company's history, alongside the North tag team partner Josh Alexander. Of course, a number of talent have left AEW over the past month, as WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry, Arn Anderson, and former World Heavyweight Champion Jake Hager have all let their contracts expired. As far as it comes to Ethan Page, he has broken his silence about his debut. Here's what Page had to say.
Everybody saw what I did last night. Literally everybody. We're talking millions of views across all social platforms. It's pretty heavy. I'd even say that's a bit of buying power for Ethan Page. Especially because, contrary to popular belief, Ethan Page is not signed to any company or any contract. And I'm going to just assume that Trick Williams would love to get a little payback and revenge on Ethan Page. So, NXT, I'm going to leave this one to you. Ball is in your court, and all ego is all ears. I'm going to assume somebody in that company has my number. I'll wait for the call.
So Ethan Page is not signed to a contract, although reports say that he is indeed. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.